Hello, I'm Matt Stewart, and welcome to another edition of Dawg Report. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we'll visit with Georgia softball coach Lou Harris-Champer as the Bulldogs host the Athens Regional Super Regionals this weekend, just 2 wins away from advancing once again to the College World Series. And we'll take a look at Georgia Bulldogs Richard Samuel, who's making the transition this season from running back to linebacker. But first, Rod Cole was a 4-year starter on Hugh Durham's Georgia Bulldogs, including the 1990 Dogs, that to this day remain the only team in program history to win the SEC regular season championship. Now Rod and former teammates Sean Golden and Patrick Hamilton have put together an annual event to remember the late Alec Kessler, their teammate. And Rod now joins us here on Dawg Report. Rod, it's good to see you. How you doing?
Great, Matt. Good to see you as well.
Well, it's been a pleasure to keep up with you all these years. I know you go to all the basketball games still. First, tell us about the NeverNX annual golf tournament that's going to benefit the Alec Kessler Memorial Foundation and research to further research breast cancer.
It's a great tournament. This is the second year we've had it. Unfortunately, our teammate Alec Kessler passed. It's been 2.5 years ago now. And it was a way for us to network and come together and remember Alec and enjoy each other's camaraderie and bring some of the old guys back. Coach Durham attended last year. Joe Ward and some of the other Bulldogs attended last year. So it's a good way for us to get together because before Alec died, it wasn't an opportunity for us to get together.
Sure.
We also added this year the breast cancer awareness thing, which is huge. My mother-in-law personally has gone through breast cancer in the last couple of years, so it's been something in my household that we've really become aware of, and it's something that was strong on myself, Patrick Hamilton, and Sean's heart. So that was one of the causes that we wanted to bring together also with Alec. And anytime we get an opportunity to move Alec to the forefront and highlight him not only just as a player but as a person, he's a great person, and so it's a great event.
Alec was an incredibly talented guy who died way before his time, leaving behind a wife and 2 boys. How many guys are gifted enough to be a first-round draft pick in the NBA and then become a doctor after that? Tell everybody what Alec was like on the basketball court and off the basketball court.
I think Alec was probably the hardest working guy that I ever played with. I played 9 years professional overseas. I've never seen a guy with the work ethic of Alec Kessler on and off the basketball floor. We would play games away. At night, Alec would be on the plane studying as we got back. I mean, just an incredible guy. And I think when he got to Georgia, he was 190 pounds. When he left Georgia, he was 230, 240, all muscle. And again, off of the floor, which is an attribute to him and his family. I mean, the guy was just an incredible person. I was looking at earlier today. I looked at the website, Alec's website. Every now and then I go on there. I think he had 420 some odd posts where people still to this date are sending different comments in about Alec and what type of person he was. And some of those, about basketball, mostly but about the person and, how many people he's affected. Even 2.5 years after his death, people are still, Alec Kessler is still on their mind, and that just goes to him as a person.
Along with Alec and Lateral Green, and you started on that 1990 SEC championship team as well for Coach Hugh Durham. Like we mentioned, it's the only one in Georgia history. Not even the Final Four team in 1983 won the SEC regular season championship. What made that team so special?
I think what made that team special, we had a lot of guys that knew their roles. That was the biggest thing. A lot of times you have people wanting to do things that, they can't really do. That particular team, everybody had different roles. Alec was a scorer. Lateral was a scorer. I was a defensive person that didn't mind giving the ball up. Neville Austin did, a lot of dirty work. And Marshall Wilson also was a talented guy that did a lot of different things. When you have a team that meshes that well together, understands that role, and then you have players and you put them in a position to do things well, I think, along with Coach Durham and all the hard work, and I mean that whole thing from the assistant coaches down to the players, that whole team really understood what it took to win, and I think that was the biggest difference, and I think that's what made that team different.
Well, you were more than just a defensive player and a guy that didn't mind giving the ball up. You were a 4-year starter. You were named to the AP's All-SEC team in 1990. In 1991, you were named to the All-Defensive team. You're still number 5 on the career steals list, number 7 on the career assists list. What stands out most about your career?
Well, I guess the one thing, and most of the fans, the Georgia fans, remember the 3 free throws at LSU. I got fouled. I can't remember how long was left on the clock. We were down by 3 points, and LSU tried to freeze me on the 3 free throws. And It really didn't affect me because, how people always say, oh, it's just pretend like you're in your backyard. So my mind, I was already calm and relaxed. In that particular game against LSU, the Super Bowl was in town, so you had a lot of media people there, and it was a big, big deal. But, I was just really calm. I have a tendency to overthink situations, so I sat there and I just thought about it and relaxed. And every time they would call a timeout, it just gave me an opportunity to relax even more. So I hit the 3 free throws, we went on, and it was a big game, into going and, us winning the SEC championship. So I guess that's one of the biggest highlights of my career.
That's a pretty big one. You played for the legendary Hugh Durham, who's still the all-time winningest coach in program history. What was he like to play for then, and now when he comes back for this event, what's he like now that you're 20 years older and he is too, and you guys aren't player and coach anymore?
The funny thing about Coach Durham, back then when you're younger, you think you can run through walls and different things like that. And Coach Durham was a Bobby Knight disciple. He was a hard guy. And when you're young and coaches push you, it's like your dad teaches you different things and you reject it and different things like that. Over the years, you just respect, the work ethic that he gave you. Where most people would quit, you continue to go because of what Coach Durham gave you. When I see him now, I always think, I say, Coach, you know what? I didn't really appreciate it at that time. But as I get older and I pass it on to my kids, I really appreciate what you gave, not only me, but a lot of my teammates. He was a hard guy back then. Now he's mellowed out a lot. And so we play in the golf tournament, we laugh and joke, and he's just a really, really laid-back guy. It's kind of weird for some of the guys to see him like that because, everybody remembers.
He's still coach.
Yeah, he's still coach. He always will be coach. Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about coaches, and I know, as I mentioned off the top, you still go to a lot of the games, maybe all the games. You're always there whenever I'm there calling a game. Let me know what your opinion is of Coach Fox after his first season there in Athens.
Well, I'm kind of like most Georgia fans. I was kind of reserved when they hired him because I'd never heard of him. When he got the job, my daughter went to journalism camp down at UGA, and I told John Bateman I wanted to come down there and meet Coach Fox. And he came and sat down with him, and my wife was with us. And the guy was just a regular guy. I was impressed by him. He asked me questions. He wanted to know my input. And a lot of the players say the same thing about him. And watching him play, he asked me to evaluate the team, and I was like, well, Coach, it's going to be tough. But, the guy has come in. He's made everybody comfortable. A lot of the ex-players come back. He's been accepting to that. He did a great job with that team down there. Now everybody's excited about Georgia basketball for the first time in a lot of years. I was at the tournament when Coach Felton and them won the tournament, which was exciting to watch. And I speak to a lot of the former players now. One thing that we all agree, and that was a part of us coming up with NeverNX, is we want to see the basketball program succeed. I think Damon Evans and Arthur Johnson and that crew down there did an excellent job of going out and getting a coach that wasn't a big-name coach. But, with the talent, we just signed a kid from Westlake. Mm-hmm. With the talent come in, and as you and I spoke, that's huge for the University of Georgia basketball program. They can win national championships down in Florida. We can do the same thing at Georgia with that program, and I think we got the right coach in place now.
Kind of leads me to my next question. Some early forecasts have the Bulldogs in the national top 25 with Trey Tompkins and Travis Leslie deciding to come back, and the strong recruiting class that you just mentioned. How good can this team be next year?
I think they can be really good, but one of those things is you really want to be with a team like that. You want to be careful because what ends up happening is the kids start reading the press clippings about them and don't have that hard work ethic. I think we got the coach in place that will make them and push them to keep them getting better. Trey Tompkins is an excellent player. And I saw Travis Leslie when he was at Columbia. He's made tremendous strides over his career. They have a point guard coming in this year that'll be strong. So they have a strong cast, but, they hadn't, like Coach Durham always used to say, potential means you hadn't done anything yet. And so I think that's where we are at this point. The team has a lot of potential, but they still haven't achieved a whole bunch yet. So I would warn against, that, because they're not going to sneak up on a lot of people this year. When you start getting mentioned and being ranked in the top 25, you really have to bring it. And so I'm hoping Coach Fox will keep the kids alert to that, and hopefully it'll be a great year.
Well, certainly that's something Georgia fans can look forward to, being wary of high expectations because expectations have been so low in the recent years. Again, let's show the information about the NeverNX golf tournament, and as we do, people can write this down, especially take a look at the website there. That's where you're going to get all the valuable information. Tell everybody the concept behind NeverNX, because we talked about the golf tournament. We really haven't talked about your organization. Tell us what it it's all about.
Okay. Basically, the organization is about, and we just started NeverNX apparel line. We're a licensed vendor to use the University of Georgia G, which is huge. Like you and I expressed before, when we talk about Georgia, we're not just Georgia basketball or Georgia football, or Georgia tennis, anything like that. We get emotional about it. When Georgia wins, we're on emotional high. Georgia loses, we're on emotional low. So that's what NeverNX is about. You know, once a Georgia Bulldog, always a Georgia Bulldog. You're never an ex-Georgia Bulldog. And that's basically what the brand stands for. And the important part about the brand is not just the clothing you wear, it's something personal to you. So when we wear this brand, we wear it with pride. When we walk around with the NeverNX G, that means I'm always a Georgia Bulldog.
Well, Rod, thanks a lot for your time. To appreciate it, and best of luck. What you're doing there for the Alec Kessler Foundation is incredible and really worthy. It's still hard to believe that he's gone after just a great career and a great life.
Definitely.
Rod, thanks a lot. Do appreciate it. When we come back, we'll take a look at Richard Samuel's transition from running back to linebacker for the upcoming season.